So Ireland take on Italy in Rome today. So what else would we be making in the kitchen? Only something Italian.
Yes, Krissy Gibson from Take the Cake is doing the honours today, and it's a Torta Della Nonna on the menu.
Torta Della Nonna, exactly. This is a
really that accent.
I just have to say it.
It's just fun to say, isn't it?
It's a Welsh dessert.
This is a really modest dessert. It's not too sweet. It's not too filling. It's
so you're
good,
messing
though.
with my brain here. You're saying it's dessert, but it's not too sweet.
It's not these.
Oh.
Did you taste one of those?
I'm going to have one of them. Can I have one of them?
No, it's a lovely dessert. It's really traditional, old school Italian.
Okay.
Torta della Nonna originated in Tuscany. We've got 120 grams of butter there, melted. I added 150 grams of sugar to it. And here I'm going to add some eggs. Well, I've got 1 whole egg and I've got 2 egg yolks there, okay? So we're going to add those together and just mix them up with about 5 mils of vanilla extract.
Okay.
And then
extract as opposed to essence, or
yeah,
can you use the pods?
You could absolutely if you can afford it.
Yeah, I know.
There's a difference.
Vanilla essence is sweeter, and vanilla extract will give you a richer vanilla flavor. So that's 300 grams of flour, gentlemen. I'm going to add that, and we're just going to actually get our hands dirty here and mix that up. This is going to be the crust of our cake. Torta means cake, but this is actually more like a pie, because it's made with plain flour as opposed to self-rising flour. So the texture of it is more like a pastry.
And is the filling kind of a free-for-all, up to you? You're doing the traditional one today, though.
Very traditional. Now, the filling is a custard, okay? I'm using...
Are you a custard fan?
Yeah, it can be.
Oh, no, that's not very convincing. No.
It's got loads of pine nuts.
Let me say something that will annoy you. I don't have much of a sweet tooth.
Do you not?
No, I don't.
You
don't sit over there and have a word with yourself.
I'm force-fed dessert to my mother's every Sunday, and I will be this evening too.
You can dig into those, and then he'll have this.
Yeah.
You might like this then,
You're
because
going to love this then.
It really isn't very sweet.
Okay.
It's not very sweet. It's not very filling. So I've just kind of roughly put together that.
Came together very easily, actually.
It did. It's very easy. I think it's because the butter's melted.
Yeah.
So we're going to divide that into about 2/3 and 1/3, and we're going to go back to that later. Okay. Right now we're going to start working on our custard. Now over here I've got a whole liter of full-fat milk that we have on low heat. And you want to keep it on low heat, because if the heat's too high, that milk is going to burn on you. And then your custard won't be nice and smooth.
So gently, gently.
That's right. And to that, we're going to add 10 egg yolks. 10, I know. But it is a full liter of milk, so...
Well, yeah, okay.
And portion-wise, this is for a few.
Well, this will serve me and you anyway, comfortably.
Honestly, portion-wise, we're using this depth of a pie tin today, a pie pan. Now, ideally, actually, you could use one of these, which has more of a depth, you see.
Yeah.
So if you've got one of these at home, you could use one of those. That will give you more filling, a thicker custard filling, but today we're going with one of these.
People are nervous about making custard, don't they, because the egg splitting and yada yada. So you're gently heating the milk and then add the egg yolks.
We're heating it up nice and slow. And on the side, we're going to mix those 10 egg yolks with another 150 grams of caster sugar, or you can use granulated sugar. It doesn't really matter. And 70 grams of plain flour again. This is going to give us a nice sort of pasty, soupy addition for our milk.
It's certainly different to this, anyway.
Very different.
And as for the filling, then, as Simon asked, can you change it up?
Well, what I do with the filling, and actually this is very traditional, with the milk you add a bit of lemon. Now, this is not a lemony dessert at all. But what that's going to do is it's going to give us just a little bit of a lift in the flavor.
Gorgeous, yeah,
it's a light flavor, this.
Yeah.
You don't see many change-ups with Torta della Nonna, but you always do see lemon. Sometimes people will put a bit of zest in their crust, and that's nice, too.
But not like a tart where you can...
But
this is Grandma's cake. You don't mess with Grandma's cake.
I'm not going to do the impressive there.
I really like vanilla, so I'm adding a little extra.
Yes, you do, don't you? Wow, holy moly.
You put about 5 mils in there. So we're going to heat that up slowly. And what you want to do, the goal is to get that to boil, okay? And then we're taking, once that boils, you want it to have a full boil. And just as it starts to boil, what you do is you turn off the heat, okay? You turn the heat off.
Kill the heat.
And you leave it off. And then you very slowly add...
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit, you very slowly add your egg mixture and you whisk it together. And the idea with the milk is to keep whisking so that the egg doesn't, well, first of all, so the egg doesn't cook, sit still and cook.
Would you like me to whisk for you?
That'd be great. What a helper.
Listen, I'm here to help and eat, has to be said.
Right answer. All right. So there we have the egg. You add everything in there.
See, therefore, it goes wrong, you can blame me, Krissy. You see, that's the key, isn't it?
Now, if you want to make your crust ahead of time, you can wrap it in cling film and put it in the fridge. If you want to make your custard ahead of time, you can. And what you'll want to do if you do make the crust ahead of time is put cling film over the top so that you don't get that skin on the top. You know how that happens, and then you can use it the next day or something. Now, what we're going to do with our crust, I went ahead and I rolled one out on the break to save some time. We're just going to put the crust inside of our pan. If this breaks on you, don't sweat it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to see the bottom.
Because you can fill in the gaps anyway, can't you?
You can. And
but
then
this one you literally just made could be rolled out and is ready to...
You'd let that sit.
Would you?
Let it sit. How long would you let that sit for?
You can store it overnight in the fridge, wrapped in cling film.
Okay, it needs time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to dock the crust. That means I'm just going to put some holes in there to make sure that it bakes evenly. And since I've got sort of a pan today that isn't very deep, I'm probably not going to fit all that custard in there.
It looks like melted cheese.
That custard will find a home, don't you worry.
That's cool. That's cool.
In the boot of Aidan's car for Mommy today.
To that, we're going to add loads of pine nuts, gentlemen. I've got about 150 grams total. This is half of that, so that's about 75 grams of pine nuts. These are fresh. We're just going to cover the top of the custard with the pine nuts.
Nice.
And
you preheated your oven, Krissy?
Yeah, sorry, the oven is preheated to about 160 degrees Celsius.
How long will you cook it for?
45 minutes.
Nice.
So we're adding one more crust for the top. Okay, so I'll very quickly transport this over and then give you gentlemen a taste. And then once we get to the top, we're going to dock that as well. A few...
This is going to be up your street because we haven't got a sweet tooth.
You think so?
I think so.
Because it's not so sweet.
I think so. We're going to brush some milk on the top.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, brush some milk on the top and add more pine nuts. These have been rinsed so that they don't burn in the oven, okay? Now, here I've got one that's done.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow.
And what we want to do is put icing sugar on the top.
Oh, look
I'm going to give you guys a slice. How does that sound?
Yeah, well...
I know we're out of time.
Yeah, I'm going to eat your cupcake. You have a slice of that. Right, let's do it. Have we got a knife? Please tell me we have a knife.
Look at this.
Oh, look.
There you go, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Torta
Krissy.
Della
Fruit as
Nonna.
well.
Grazie mille,
Mille.
belle signorini. Right, let's get stuck in here.
How about a cup on tea?
Cup on. Oh, perfect. As ever, the recipe details are on virginmediatelevision.ie/weekendam, or check out Krissy's website, takethecake.ie, to find out where you can get your hands on her wares, as you say. Pardon?